What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so I apologize for the earlier video. Apparently, I had my microphone on mute, and my silly ass didn't even realize it. So, last night, the NBA had two of their stars go for 50 or more points. Giannis Antetokounmpo scored 59 points, the second highest point total of his career, in a overtime victory. In an overtime victory, I think it was 127-120 over the Detroit Pistons. The Milwaukee Bucks needed that victory as they now improved to 4-8 on the year. That's sad. They were saying the Bucks improved to 4-8 on the year. They did it with a roster that was depleted by 4 players. Victor Wembanyama, second-year player out of France with the Spurs, scored a career-high 50 points in a 139-130 victory over the depleted, the dilapidated, and the completely devastated Washington Wizards. Jordan Poole, who pretty much has disappeared from the NBA as far as relevancy, scored 42 points in this performance, against the Spurs, but it was not enough. Victor Wembanyama was 18 of 29 from the floor, including 8 of 16 from downtown. He only had 6 rebounds, though, which I think is rather pathetic for a 7'4" player. And that brings me to my issues with Victor Wembanyama. While he is phenomenal on the defensive end, I think there are a platitude of Defensive Player of the Year awards in this young player's future, and these will be more legitimate, actually, very legitimate compared to that fraud that's playing with the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's also from France. But as great as he is on the defensive end, offensively, I know it sounds kind of crazy saying this after the guy scores 50, but offensively, there's a lot of things I don't like about Victor Wembanyama. Number one is his shot selection. The guy takes way too many three-point attempts. You see a 7'4" front court player takes 16 of his 29 attempts from the field be three-pointers. There's something wrong. He is not Kevin Durant. He is still not a great shooter. I know he had a great night from outside last night, but in general, he's not a great shooter, and he's not a great ball handler. I really wish that he would focus more on post play and mid range with the occasional outside shot. But I think this season he's taken like 9 3-point attempts or something like that, maybe even more now. It's just way too many, man. And also I keep saying that they're saying he's had a record performance. And I'm like, but then I look and he's only the 4th youngest to do this. So I don't see what's so record breaking about it. If he's not the youngest to do it, doesn't make any sense. And you've had other Spurs players score 50 or more points. Tony Parker did it. Of course, the great David Robinson, George Gervin, Tim Duncan. Probably forgetting some other ones that have done it with the Spurs. So at the end of the day, I don't get all of the hoop to do with this, man. Look, another thing. A multitude of players have dropped 50 points on the Wizards in recent years. Now I know that this year they got Jonas Valanciunas to make up for their terrible front court, their lack of front court presence and size in recent years. But when you got a guy like Victor Wembanyama who's just out there yakking threes, on this particular night, he was able to connect. 24 of his 50 points came from three-point line. And he was able to have a big game. But in recent years, significant front court players have had big games against the Wizards. If you think I'm lying, here's the evidence. Last year, Giannis had a 55-point game against the Wizards, right? A couple of years ago, Joel Embiid, I think in the same year, had a 48 and a 50-point game against the Wizards. 2 years ago, and I think this came when LeBron was out with injury at the beginning of the 2022-23 season, I think it was. Anthony Davis had a 55-point game against the Wizards. Remember? One of those years, I can't remember, it was recently, maybe like 2-3 years ago, LeBron had a 50-point game against the Wizards. So that's the team that you pad your numbers against. The Wizards are a team where if a player is struggling, he can get his shot going against the Wizards, and or you can stat pad against the Wizards. You're going for a scoring title like Joel Embiid or Giannis or LeBron back in the day. Hey, you can drop 40 or 50 against the Wizards. They are the premier garbage team in the league. What are they now? 2-8. They suck. You know what I'm saying? So I guess congratulations to Victor scoring 50, but in today's NBA, man, 50 points is like 40 back in the day. It's not as impressive to me as it would have been, say, if this was like 1998, 99. You know? I know during that abbreviated 98-99 season, that 50-game schedule, nobody scored 50. And if I remember correctly, I think it was 2 or 3 guys whose career highs, I think it was 3. I think their season high, were 46 points. That was the season high. I know 2 of them, if I'm not mistaken. One of them was Grant Hill, and another one I think was Iverson. But yeah, nobody scored 50 points that year. And the year before that, 97-98, only 3 players scored 50 points in a season. It was Shaq with 50. Carmelo had 56 points against the Warriors. And Tracy Murray scored 50 points in the game. Even Michael Jordan didn't score 50 points that season. I think the season high was 49 points in the November 97 game against the Clippers. How do I remember this? I don't fucking know. But the league was different back then. Top 20 scores in the 98-99 season. The top 20 scores, 14 were post players. So that shows you how different the NBA was. And that's the league that I miss, you know. That's why I love Giannis so much, because he plays like a player from the 90s. But to these new age, you know, tight pants, fingernail polish wearing freakniks that are part of the fandom today, according to these ninjas, Giannis ain't got a bag. He ain't got no skills, you know, which is ridiculous. If you listen to Shannon Sharp or some of these other guys, don't know what they're talking about. I just seen Shannon Sharp say that Giannis ain't got no jump shot. But if you look at the advanced metrics, Giannis shoots a very good percentage from 10 to 20 feet. He shoots somewhere between, depending on which metric you look at, he shoots something around 45 to 50% from the field between 10 feet and right beyond the 3-point line. So he's actually been working on his game a lot. This ain't the same Giannis from 2018, 2019. These guys just be regurgitating the same talking points. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's all I got to say about it, man. Tell me what you guys think.